Hello and welcome to season 2 of the Wife for Life podcast. I cannot tell y'all how excited I am, how much I've been anticipating this very moment. And there's a special reason why. Because today, for the first time, I have as my guest none other than my handsome boo, Ray McElroy. You guys help me welcome my husband, Ray McElroy, to the set. Yay! Yay! Welcome, Ray.
You're excited.
Yep.
I am excited to be here. You know, your producer is a trip.
Uh-oh.
I meant to tell you about your producer.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I've been trying to get on this show since inception. You understand? I reach out to your producer. I'm sending emails. I'm showing up on set. She like, you have to make an appointment like everybody else.
Is that how she did you?
I was like, I am your husband. I am her husband. I don't care. I was like, really?
Oh my God.
So I'm excited to be here. Praise the Lord. I'm in the house.
Finally, we got him.
Season 2. Let's do this.
I think he was just busy. That's what I really think the real was. But nonetheless, I am so excited because actually I have asked several husbands for their input regarding the podcast. I've asked them to, hey, listen to 2 to 3 episodes and give me your honest feedback. And what I heard, I wanted to answer, and that was simply this. They wanted a male presence. They wanted a male voice. So guess who that is? Bam! None other than my boo. So the way I wanted to start this off today, Ray, is really to try to be a blessing to single women, right? And to newlyweds, maybe engaged, maybe 10 years or more down the line, but to be a blessing to women who are interested in being a wife for life. So let's start with the single women.
All right.
Y'all ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Game day. That's what he says.
That's right.
His corporate talk. He is ready for game day. So this is game day. And my first question for you is, when you think of the term wife for life, even when you thought about what you wanted in a wife, and maybe even share a little bit included in that of what you saw in me that made you say that's going to be my wife for life, all of those things to help the single women.
What I saw in you?
Yes, but let that be last. Let that be last. Tell me, what do you think about the term wife for life? What does a wife for life look like? And actually, you can melt it all in. A big melting pot.
When I think about wife for life, I think about this principle of till death do us part. I think about commitment. One of the things that we learned starting off in the process of being a husband and a wife, divorce is not an option, right?
Right.
And so we just throw that out because we are in this till literally death do us part. And so that's kind of what I think about when I think about this idea of wife for life. We're jumping in with 2 feet. We ain't got one foot in and 1 foot out.
Right.
We're in this thing and we're committed to the process. I also think about this idea of, embracing the fact that it won't always be, a great day. There are going to be some challenging moments. There are going to be some, hard times, but we signed up for this, right? And so just embracing that idea of what that looks like, because we, like I said, we're in this truly till death do us part. And so, and then, you, of course, when you asked me that question, it messed me up. It had me thinking about Jamie Foxx. Remember Jamie Foxx on Dreamgirls?
Okay.
When I first saw you, I said, oh my, that's a dream. You know what I'm saying? I gotta start thinking about that. Yeah. But I tell this to my kids. I'm a mentor through Array of Hope on Earth, our nonprofit organization, and One of the things that I always tell my boys, and I make sure that girls know this, is that, when we see the real deal, we know it pretty early. And so there were some characteristics that when I saw you for the first time, it was just kind of like, she looked different, just a little different. There's something, how you carried yourself. You wasn't like, some of the other girls that I had seen, on campus, because we met in college. And so it was very attractive. It was a quality, a quiet confidence that you exuded.
A quiet confidence. I like that term.
It really was. It was a quiet confidence that just made me I gotta find out who this is, right? And then when I got to know you, then I got to kind of understand, oh, okay, there's a certainty about her. There is a heart that you have. One of the other things, you got me thinking a little bit. I know you don't know anybody like this, but there are some young women that can be super superficial.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
don't be superficial.
Right. This is the way I am, how I look, and so I just need to be around kind of that group of people. One of the things about you that I always appreciated, well, you were never that person. You just really cared about people in general. It didn't matter what they looked like, where they were from. You gave people an opportunity to just be authentically them, and you tried to love those people right where they were. And I was just like, that's how I like that about you. So just some few things that I saw that I was like, she all right with me.
He's trying to tear me up on my own show. Y'all see how he doing me? That's so sweet, baby. You remembered that. That's awesome. I love, and I think it's important that we're hearing some of the things you said. Like, of course, I already stressed the quiet confidence, but just knowing in how you carry yourself says something to men, and that has to be determined by you, how you feel proud of carrying yourself, how you feel like you're representing your true and authentic self. That's important and that's valuable. And the hope is whoever that is in you will attract the type of man you want to be your husband, right? So always keep those things in mind. Are the clothes that I am wearing, are they attracting the type of husband I want? Are the events that I'm attending attracting the type of husband that I want? Are the atmospheres that I'm finding myself in, the positions that I'm finding myself in, are those atmospheres and positions that would attract the type of husband I want? And the other thing for me is I just always like to let singles that I encounter know that I felt God told me where I would meet my husband. So to me, it's listening to the Lord and what he's unctioning you to do, where he's unctioning you to go. Because straight out of high school, I thought I was grown. I didn't think I needed the college thing. I'm like, my dad wants me to do it, so I'll go to junior college. And that was just to be doing something to please the parents. But I was working a full-time job thinking it was time to be grown. But God kept telling me, no, you're going to meet your husband away at college. Why am I saying that story? Because even though it did not happen in the timing we would have thought it would happen, and even though it did not happen in the place we may have thought it would happen, God said, no, you need to go away to college. So he was trying to get me away from my current atmosphere, my current situation, so I could meet some different kind of guys, the marrying type of guys, right? And that's where I met my boo. Just want to encourage you too. So with that being said, when you think about a married woman, or even, let's start off with engaged, a woman that's engaged and she's like geeks, Cause we're always geek like, this is about to be my boo. I'm about to marry you. It's gonna be on.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And that excitement is, yes, about the union, but mostly in the moment about the marriage, like the wedding ceremony is what I want to say, the wedding ceremony. How can those women prepare themselves to be a wife for life?
It's recognizing, I think, personally, I think it's recognizing.
It's all male perspective. So yes, what you think. We want what you
great.
think.
I think it's recognizing, it's got to be bigger than the marriage, right?
Or the wedding.
It's got to be bigger than the wedding.
Yeah.
You're preparing for a marriage, a lifelong marriage, not just a wedding day. And so if you are preparing for a lifelong wedding, it's recognizing what that looks like long term, right? I think it's so interesting. I've known, a few single women in my day when I was a young guy.
Oh.
And I've been privy to some conversations about how some ladies think. And, they spend a lot of time doing I would say, the things to get a prospective spouse, fiance. But then once they get them, now it's like, okay, I ain't got to do that no more. And it's not recognizing, no, you want to continue to do those things that you did in the beginning, because that's part of keeping the flame alive and the marriage and the relationship exciting, right?
Yes.
And so being willing to have those conversations, like I remember very clearly, I was like, when we started having children, what I gotta do to make sure that you don't turn into a soccer mom. No offense to all the soccer mothers out there, maybe some of you, that's kind of your passion. I didn't want that.
Well, explain to them what a soccer mom from your perspective looks like, so they understand, so they're trekking with you.
Yeah. Every day, baggy clothes, a taxi for the kids, that sort of deal. And that's one side of it. And then the other side of it is, when you do turn up, and put yourself together, it's for everybody else but your spouse. You do it for the boss. You do it for your girls when you go out and kick it. But you forget about your husband that used to love when you, did all that. But now we're not getting that in. Okay, it's recognizing and understanding what it is that makes your husband different, and valuing that, and making sure that continues to be part of, I don't want to say it like this because that sounds bad, but part of your overall rhythm. I think that's a much better word.
Yeah.
To make sure that doesn't get lost in the chaos and the confusion and the craziness of life, because it's real. Life is real.
Yeah.
Stuff shows up, issues show up. You got to go to work every day, and it's so easy. It's happened to us sometimes, and we got to make sure, hey, we got to step out of this. When the last time we've been on a date? When the last time we spent some quality time together?
Yeah.
Right? Not allowing life to kind of suck you in and just get into this kind of rhythm where nobody's paying attention to one another.
Right.
Nobody is feeding the other person.
Yes.
And so I just think that is so important, particularly for women that can kind of fall into the, kids, work, and I just need some me time or whatever.
Yeah, I hope what you guys are hearing is what I'm hearing too, which is maintaining your individuality. Because once you get married, yes, you're in this union, yes, you're a mom, but those things that made you, those things that were self-care things that helped you maintain you, those are all the things that he was attracted to. All of those things that made him say, I want to say I do. So you don't want to get so bogged down, so overwhelmed by marriage, by parenting, by work, that you neglect yourself and you neglect the relationship. And oftentimes, and in fact, it was one of the things, it was actually what I thought you were going to say. It was one of the things that we discussed early in our marriage, because we encountered a lot of people when we were engaged. And let me just tell you guys, people were not positive about marriage. I mean, there was so many people, you remember that?
I do.
That was telling us, don't do it, don't do it. And we were like, we are going to do it, and we are going to do it well. Forget what y'all talking about. So first of all, kudos to us for having that mindset, right? But then secondly, Ray said, and it's about to get real now, he was like, look, when I see some of these couples that are now parents and things like that, one, I feel like the wives don't treat their husbands nice anymore. It doesn't seem like they're still in love. Two, I don't think they have the sex. What
I did
do
say that.
I have to do?
That.
Yes. Yeah. When you said what I gotta do, I was like, oh, he's about to tell it. He's about to tell it. But I think that's important that they should know. What do I have to do to maintain our sex life and to maintain the love in our relationship? And that at the beginning of marriage, the fact that we had created a safe space for him to say those things, because I should not penalize him if he desires sex more than me. That's how he's wired. You know, we shouldn't penalize him for that. Just like he shouldn't penalize me for wanting feminine intimacy, which is outside of the bedroom, more than he does. So in effort to not penalize each other, we create a safe space where we could be raw and authentic and honest and just share, hey, what I have to do so you keep giving me some. And so therefore, I was able to say, listen, what I see is these women are tired. They're tired. They're working. They're taking care of babies and changing diapers and making dinner. And they're doing all these things. And as one of our favorite couples from one of our marriage conferences said, Pastor Meeks, women have 2 jobs. You know, they're going to work and then they're coming home and they're managing the family. And so if they're doing that alone, and then your hope is that they're going to have some energy left over for you in the bedroom, you know, that makes it a little difficult. So creating that safe space and maintaining your self-care, man, those 2 things are phenomenal in creating longevity.
It's huge, because I know that that's one of your huge attributes. I tell you all the time what an amazing mother I think you are, what an amazing wife and family person. You are all about family. And I had to learn sometimes to the detriment of your own individuality.
Yes.
And so recognizing that and understanding that in the conversations that we have, I had to jump in and be a good helpmeet to you and be like, all right, hey, we drawing a line right here.
Yes.
She is officially off duty. Children.
Woo.
You understand?
Bless me.
She's going to the beauty salon. She's going to take a nap. She's going to go hang out with her friends. Things that are going to energize her.
She's going to the spa.
She's going to the spa.
She's going shopping.
Yeah, that's
yes.
Yeah, shopping.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's almost time for the interview to be over. Yeah, but seriously, those things that energize her, which puts her in a position to want to fulfill my needs and my desire, because my desire is to see her filled up.
Yeah, and to add on to that list, and not necessarily comically this time, it was even when our children were young and we had 3 back-to-back, a time where he would let me go to a hotel and had 24 hours off. Like, I was like, thank you, God. Because he worked out of town so much and I had the kids by myself. So I love that too. Now, back to wife for life.
Right.
Now, we've been married for how long?
26 years. Wonderful.
Glorious years. I know, right?
Yeah. 30 years together.
30 years together. And so I felt like at year 10, we went through this book. So I'm trying to think, were we chaplains at the time for the Bears?
Had to be.
Yeah. So we were chaplains for the Bears, and we always did for our couple study a devotional. So we were going through Love and Respect. And I remember going through the book, Love and Respect, and feeling like we have been together 14 years, married for 10 years. And this book is telling me I am being disrespectful to my husband. It wrecked me, y'all. It wrecked me. Because I'm like, that doesn't create longevity in your marriage. That's not wife for life behavior. And so I had to find out from him, because in my mind, I thought what disrespect looked like from a man's perspective, but I didn't. So tell me at year 10, let's talk to the people that have been married for a minute. What does being a wife for life look like when we change and we evolve as human beings? And how do we stay connected and make sure that we're still being that for our husbands?
Shout out to Emerson Eggridge, by the way. Yeah. That's the author of Love and Respect.
Yes.
You know, from my perspective, I think it looks like a couple of things. And you said one of them. And I love the fact that you said it. It's number one, not penalizing the man for being a man. Not penalizing him for being different from you. This idea of, all right, so in our relationship, my wife, now I know this is really hard for you guys to see.
So you're about to tell on me right now. That's what I'm sensing, right?
No, not at all. I'm just helping the people get to know you in case they don't.
Okay.
She's extremely expressive. Very, very expressive, right? So this is her happy place here. Now, being in front of a camera and in front of people, I get energized by this as well. But I don't necessarily, and particularly younger in our relationship, I didn't do a very good job of really being able to tap into my feelings, my emotions, what I was dealing with. And then I didn't feel like there were times where when I did, I was being heard.
Yes.
And so this idea of, you talked about creating a safe space. Men have to feel like, can I make a generalization?
Sure, let's try it.
Would you say that most women are emotional and most men are rational in their thinking? I don't know. How would you answer that question?
Well, you said most, so I like the word most versus all. Right. But yes, we do usually carry things more emotionally. That doesn't mean we lack logic. Some more than others, though. You know, some are more logical than emotional, but most women tend to be more emotional. Yes. At least in my work and the people who I've experienced working with. Yes.
So having the ability to be able to say something that may trigger, you know, a lady emotionally, have her, you know, kind of in her feelings, versus, you know, being able to, you know, say to, you know, your spouse that's female and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm hoping that we can kind of, you know, work through this rationally without, you know, having a bunch of fisticuffs. You know, is you know, verbally, that is.
Yes.
Is a really big deal. And I struggled with that.
Yeah.
I struggled with that. And so we had to work through that.
Yeah, we did. I had to work at, a lot of it is what he's referring to as self-work. I had to work at, especially if I asked him to share his feelings, and then taking it personally. Like, we can't do that. We have to allow them to express their feelings and not take it personally, take it literally, process it properly, and then dialogue about it, communicate through it, you know. And I didn't do that well when we were younger. So I hope I've gotten better at that. Yeah.
Well, I think also there needs to be some education from the male perspective as well.
Yeah.
And that's recognizing it self-work, huge, very important. but then also a maturing from the male perspective and recognizing what we have in our wives. And I just need to say this because I think this is important. I had to do some learning.
Okay.
And for me, recognizing what a wife is and the value that she brings to the space.
Can you say that to the camera right here?
Yeah. Recognizing what a wife is and the value that she brings to the space. And making sure that the wife knows that value is there. Like articulating that is huge. And so for me, sweetheart, you are my Ezer Kenegdo.
Okay.
Kenegdo. That's Hebrew. That's Hebrew. For the producer, EZER K apostrophe lowercase NEGDO. Ezer Kenegdo.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No. Tell us.
You didn't learn that no? Okay.
No.
Ezer Kenegdo. When the first woman was created, biblically speaking,
Okay.
the Bible talks about how this woman is going to be a helper for the man, right? I think it's interesting. I see some of the singles right now. See, that's the problem right there. Talking about help. He need help picking up his socks. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that type of a helper. But this type of a helper literally is a helper. It's super deep. You ready? It's super deep.
Come with it.
A helper that is a partner or a strong ally.
Ooh.
A partner or a strong ally.
I like strong ally.
Yeah. And so when you think about the allied forces, right? When in my mind, you know, I'm a picture person. And so I think about the US, we got allies. Or let's bring it lower to like back in the day in the hood when you got a bunch of people rolling up on you and you by yourself. But then your crew see you in trouble.
Yeah, and they run out.
And your allies show up. Yeah. Strong allies are those people that when they step into space, everybody look around like, oh snap, let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's a value that this person brings when they're standing next to the person that they are in support of. And that's what a wife is, that strong ally.
I like it.
Sometimes we as husbands, we don't value the ally that God has put in our lives.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to make sure that I was listening to, paying attention to, giving pause to the strong ally that God put in my life.
Yeah.
And so that's who you have been.
Thank you.
Our entire relationship.
Thank you, baby.
And so I want to say this to the older wives that are watching this, and maybe you felt like there's been seasons in your relationship where your voice has not been heard, or you felt like you've been, not valued as much. Create an opportunity to sit your husband down. Don't yell at him. Don't fuss at him. He's not going to be able to hear that. But sit him down and not just share how you feel, but why you feel the way you feel. Cite examples. Here are some times where, we talked about this, and I tried to communicate it in a way where you can hear me. Maybe I didn't communicate it in a way that you could take it in and receive it, but look at the results of what happened. Now, I'm not dogging you for how this kind of fell off the rails, but I just want you to recognize what it is that I'm bringing to the table. And it wasn't until I really started leaning into the Ezer Kenegdo.
Okay.
That
I'm not going to try to repeat that. I just need y'all to know.
And the other part of that word, which I think is very, very significant, is it literally speaks to that word helper, literally speaks to God-sized help.
Awesome.
What did God say? He said, I'm going to provide you a helper. Why? Because it's not good for a man to be alone. This is significant because, and we talk about this in our premarital stuff. The first time God says something good in the Bible is in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Genesis chapter 1, he created the first day and the first night and it was good. He created the animals and the fuzzy things and it was good. He created the seas and the light and it was good. First time God says something is not good is when he talks about a man being by himself.
All right.
We need that perspective. We need your voice. We need what it is that you bring to the table. And so when you work on, you talk about the self-talk.
Right.
but also creating a space where a man can hear what that is. Hopefully, we can create some cohesion there.
Okay, so I love that. And I hope, ladies, that you're getting what he's saying, because he's talking about having a loving conversation, right? The one big takeaway that I'm getting from what Ray is saying, and this is for any stage of marriage, is the idea of communicating in love, and sharing what you're experiencing with examples, but also sharing where you're coming from, sharing your heart. Because a lot of times when we confront our husbands, they see it as conflict, right? But actually, when we confront them, it's really because we want to connect with them. We want to be those strong allies. And so we have to communicate in a way that they recognize that we're actually on the same team.
That's right.
In fact, we want to be on your team, coach. We want to be your strong ally. So make sure that you're doing it from a loving heart and not an angry heart, not a disappointed heart, not a hurt heart, not a fearful heart, but a loving heart. Man, I feel like this was too short, right? So I don't know about y'all, but I think we need to have him back again.
Part 2?
Part 2, baby.
I'm
That's
excited
what's
about
up.
it.
If we could stand up, I'd chest bump you.
That's right.
So, guys, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Wife for Life. Thank you, Ray, for coming and being a part, my boo.
Pleasure.
And guys, I am so excited. I hope not only do you listen to this, but you share it with your sister friends. And I am looking so forward to you hearing our future wives. Come on, guys, give me your feedback. Follow me on Instagram, Mrs. Ma'am. Follow us on TikTok, Mrs. Ma'am. Follow us on Facebook, Mrs. Ma'am. That's MRSMAHM. We're at Activating Intentional Marriages. This is the Wife for Life podcast. And until the next episode, happy loving.